This is so amazing. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 2026 Truth Tellers Summit in our glorious new venue. Just look at you all out there. I mean, what is the collective noun for 500 raring to go, wildly enthusiastic journalists? A vanguard, maybe a reckoning, a firewall, all of that, I hope. And hello to everybody watching online. You're able to watch thanks to the great support of Reuters, the BBC, the Observer, and C-SPAN, which is broadcasting the summit in the US for the first time. This epic event was founded to honor the journalistic legacy of my late husband, Harold Evans, whose courage, integrity, and tenacity were the North Star to our profession. Today, we're here to celebrate what he cared most about, the supreme importance of defending the truth, to lift up the dedicated, courageous journalists on whom so much of our freedom depends. I thank my two wonderful co-hosts, Reuters' formidable editor-in-chief, Alessandra Galloni, and the stellar Karen O'Brien, Vice-Chancellor of Durham University, Harry's beloved alma mater. When we birthed Truth Tellers 4 years ago, we never thought it would expand to such a meaningful convening on the media calendar. And I've got something great to tell you as well. We were honored and very moved last week to receive a message of solidarity with the Truth Tellers Summit from His Holiness Pope Leo XIV. Now, I think this is Harry's celestial networking, okay? The Pope sends an apostolic blessing to all of goodwill participating in this summit, and he reminds us of his words last year that one of the most important challenges is to promote communication that can bring us out of the Tower of Babel in which we sometimes find ourselves, out of the confusion of loveless languages that are often ideological or partisan, which is a powerful directive. Thank you. Now, the reinforcement that Pope Leo offers to rigorous journalism is desperately needed, because the reality is that journalism is under attack. A record number, 129, were killed in 2025. A full 72% of the world lives in authoritarian regimes where they're locked inside a black box of state-controlled information. Billions of dollars are spent to demonize, weaken, and delegitimize media. We're not just a nuisance anymore. Thanks to the Trump contagion, we are the enemy. Trust has collapsed, and no one knows what to believe anymore. And that's why today we bring you the vivid expertise and nuanced knowledge of the most remarkable array of journalistic talent, the outstanding professionals whose stories you can trust. Because no matter how powerful AI becomes, you cannot automate trust. Today, you're going to hear from our fourth brilliant Sir Harry Evans Fellow in Investigative Journalism from India. She arrives literally, I think, right now at the airport. And we have another piece of joyful news. Some of you may remember 2 years ago, we mentioned the ambition to add a second Sir Harry Evans Fellowship, this one in photojournalism. And I couldn't be more thrilled that thanks to the generosity of David Thompson and his family, we'll bestow this new annual award to a stellar rising photographer on our stage today. Thank you, David. You are a true friend of journalism. And thanks to all of our other great supporters. The imaginative and generous Postcode Lottery Group, led by Sigrid Van Aken, that has contributed to so many fledgling journalistic non-profits. Sigrid is an amazing warrior for truth. We have become very good friends. Thanks, of course, to Thomson Reuters, led by CEO and President Steve Hasker, who without fanfare stands so stoically behind the costly, often legally challenging investigations that are a hallmark of Reuters' excellence. And thank you also to the Ford Foundation, Sir Howard and Lady Stringer, and the Mortimer B. Zuckerman Foundation. A bulletin about tomorrow in the morning we're planting a flag with our first half-day inaugural Truth Tellers documentary festival at the Curzon Bloomsbury to showcase inspiring filmmakers who push beyond the headlines to find the human heart of the story. It is produced by my daughter, by the way, who got this onto the program. Izzy Evans. Festival details are in your Truth Tellers bag. Eventually, we hope to add a Sir Harry Evans Fellow in documentary film and broadcasting. Watch this space and rattle your rocks, as John Lennon used to say, right? Finally, we welcome for the first time a partnership with my favorite bookshop, Hayward Hill in Mayfair, who are on site downstairs, and you'll see them selling books that so many of the speakers have written. They've created an original Truth Tellers book subscription series called Refuse to be Scared. And that, my friends, is the message of the summit. This amazing day, this island of truth, will remind us that journalism at its best is a force for decency and justice. One of the things that I most admired about Harry is that he never lost his capacity for outrage, and nor should we. There's no freedom without freedom of the press. So let's hear now from my excellent co-host, Karen O'Brien. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. It is a great privilege to open our fourth Truth Tellers Summit in honor of our great alumnus, Harry Evans, especially while Durham University is enjoying the accolade of Times and Sunday Times University of the Year from Harry's own paper. We are excited to greet our new Global Fellow in Investigative Journalism, chosen from an extraordinarily talented field. Universities like ours exist to provide guidance and hope to every new talented generation of students. Yet each year I have stood before this summit with a mounting sense of incredulity about the world we are preparing them to enter. Incredulity, however, must not distract us. Indeed, it is what some wish us to feel and to impart. To paraphrase President Obama, the strategy of the world's bad political actors is simply to exhaust our capacity for astonishment. In European universities in particular, we risk focusing on our own preoccupations and underplaying our value in open civil societies. Beyond the astonishment and the noise, we must remember what journalists know only too well, that we live in a global age of collusive, networked autocrats for whom attacks on the press and the academy are inseparable parts of the same playbook. We have all witnessed that playbook. I myself recall a summer teaching the history of the Enlightenment at the Central European University in Budapest, only to find myself a little later in 2018 part of an unsuccessful campaign to prevent the shutdown of that university by Viktor Orban's government, along with a crackdown on Hungarian press freedom that lasted until last month's election. As enemies of the open society, universities take inspiration from Reuters' guiding trust principles, celebrated by Alessandra on the occasion of their 175th anniversary. And like all great journalistic institutions, we also accept accountability for the accuracy of what we promulgate. To our students, the resolve and courage of investigative journalists are an inspiration. And this will be strengthened by the generous endowment of a new fellowship in photojournalism. We look forward to being inspired today. I now hand over to my co-host, Alessandra Galloni.
Thank you, Karen. This morning, I would like to salute two icons of journalism, Sir Harry Evans and Reuters. Both truth tellers, both holders of power to account, both protectors of the public interest. Reuters, as Karen mentioned, turns 175 this year. And for a decade of those years, we were lucky enough to have amongst us Sir Harry, the plucky and potent investigative journalist who had stood up against the makers of thalidomide, against Boeing, against powerful media ownership. Thanks to the inspiration of David Thompson, chairman of Thomson Reuters and patron of this summit and its accompanying fellowship, Sir Harry was our editor-at-large in the sunset of his career, guiding our journalists to dig deeper, seek further. And I think Harry would be proud of what we have done. This week, we were honored with 2 Pulitzer Prizes, both for stories that dug inside powerful institutions, Meta and the Trump administration. In one case, our journalists exposed how Meta knowingly profits on widespread fraud on its platform and deliberately deployed AI chatbots in ways that put vulnerable users, including children, at risk. In another, our journalists focused on the revenge of Donald Trump, tracing how the US president's intimidation tactics evolved into a means of exacting payback and expanding power. Our 2 finalists in other 2 categories, photography and illustrated reporting, focused on the victims of immigration and cyber fraud, or immigration crackdowns and cyber fraud. And please, if you have time on your way to lunch today, do take a moment to look at our photography exhibit downstairs. So many of the other Pulitzer winners and finalists this year focused on the human toll of the actions of powerful governments and institutions, as Harry so often did. And notably this year, more news organizations than ever before were awarded these prizes, and many of them are represented here today. So congratulations really to all of you. I am so grateful for the brave journalists at Reuters and everywhere for the fearless and fair work that we are celebrating today. During the day, you will hear from colleagues from Venezuela, the Philippines, Hungary, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, the UK, the US, and more. I am grateful for media owners, such as ours at Thomson Reuters, who support hard-hitting journalistic work that ruffles institutional feathers, even when that comes at a cost. And even as the pursuit of journalism has become an ever more dangerous one, I am grateful for the surge of enthusiasm among young people for this kind of work. This year, for our Sir Harry Evans Investigative Fellowship, we received yet again a record number of applications. You'll hear more about this later. On a personal note, I am so grateful to Tina and Karen, the lion-hearted ladies that are my partners in this grand adventure of ours to create more Harrys in the world. In our 175 years, Reuters has been a pioneer of journalism, of technology, of initiative under duress. When in 1851, our founder, Julius Reuter, couldn't send news from Germany to France because of a gap in Europe's newly formed telegraph line, he trained pigeons to make the trek. I keep them stuffed in the basement. The Reuters and Harry are inextricably linked. And not just because Harry walked the corridors of our newsroom, egging on our journalists, but because his intrepid, his irreverent, and his indispensable investigative journalism is what we strive to achieve every day.